Hello everyone, my name is Alexandre Gillioen. I'm a lawyer. Here in our firm we specialize in immigration law and French citizenship. We can assist you everywhere you are in France or in other countries. So if you aim to come live and work in France, you can reach out to us and we can assist you in your project, or if you're already living here and you encounter some difficulties with the French administration regarding your residence permit, you can also reach out to us and we will be able to assist you. We've been doing this for more than a decade now, and we have a lot of experience in assisting people in such situation. First, if you need more information regarding French citizenship or residence permit, don't hesitate to subscribe to this channel or to ask us questions in the comment section below. Today, I would like to speak about, a way to look at French immigration, and I want people to think about how they are going to live in this country for long-term purposes, not just coming over for 1 year and then getting out of it. No, here we're speaking about long-term residency, and I want to make the list of the 5 best residence permits you can get to live in France. But before giving you that list, I need to explain to you how I came to that conclusions and how I chose the following residence permits and for what reasons. So one of the first arguments I will use would be the duration of the residence permit. This may seem obvious, but if you have like a residence permit for 1 year, it's not the same thing as when you have one for 5 years or 10 years. So I would argue, and I think most people who already have renewed a residence permit in France and know how tiresome it can be, that the longer the duration of the residence permits you have, the best it is. So basically, you should always look to get the residence permit with the longer duration. Another argument I think that is important is, does my residence permit allow me to work here with a working contract or be self-employed? Because most of the time people believe that because they have one or another, they can do both kind of professional activities. That is not true, and that is not legal. If you have 2 different categories, so the one for the people with a working contract and the other one for people that work in France, and they are self-employed or created a French company, is that you're not allowed to be working under a working contract and at the same time to have your own company. So the fact that the residence permit allows you to do both, to me is an advantage, and that is one of the reasons I chose some residence permit to be higher in my list than others. Another thing which I believe as it's important is, does my residence permit allow me to get my family in the country? Because with some of them you have to go through something called réunification familiale, which takes a lot of time, and usually if you have to meet some criteria. So the best way and the easiest way and the fastest way is to have a residence permit that allows you to come in the country with your entire family, your spouse, and your children. So the fact that the residence permit allows you to do so, I think, is important. And the last thing I believe also has its importance when you apply to get some residence permits is it easy for the administration to revoke my residence permit? Because some of them are very easy to revoke. The easiest one is the student residence permit, because once you failed during your term, the administration can take away your residence permit, and it's very easy to fail like 1 semester. And so when you have a residence permit as a student, it is, I believe, one of the worst ones to have. And so of course it's not in my list, but that is why I think the possibility for the administration to revoke my residence permit has to be one of the reasons for which I chose that residence permit over others. So without further ado, we are now going to go over my list of the 5 best residence permits you can have if you live in France. The 5th one is the carte de séjour pluriannuelle salarié or entrepreneur profession libérale. So this is the card you get after the first one. So you get the first card, being working under a working contract or being self-employed. So you get the first one for 1 year. At the end of that year, you apply for the renewal, and if the administration grants you the renewal, you get the 4-year residence permit, either salarié or entrepreneur profession libérale. So I think this is a very good one to have because it's for 4 years and it's not that easy for the administration to revoke. So in the fourth position, I have chosen the 2 years residence permit for family reasons. So the carte de séjour pluriannuelle, motif vie privée et familiale. So this is a 2-year card, so the duration is less than the one just before. However, that cards allow you either to be self-employed or to work under a working contract, which I believe is an advantage. Also, the card is not that easy for the administration to revoke because mainly it depends on the kind of family ties you have. So let's say you were living in the country since you were children, so it's going to be very hard for the administration to revoke that card because you get it only due to your family living in the countries. By example, if most of your family is French, they're not going to lose their citizenship. So as long as they are still French and you are still living in the country, you can keep your card for a very long time. In third position, I chose the passeport talent, which is now called only talent, and only under 3 cases, which I think are the best ones. So there are salarié qualifié, carte bleue européenne, which stands for European Blue Card, and créateur d'entreprise. So that card is a 4-year card, so that's good on the duration argument. You cannot, of course, do another activity, so we find the same limitation we had with the salarié or entrepreneur profession libérale. However, you are able to bring your family with you in the country without having to go through the regroupement familial. So this is, I think, a good advantage with the passeport talent. You have the duration and an easy way to get your family here with you. Also, your spouse can have the right to work during that card. It's for 4 years, so it's quite interesting. The administration can revoke it, of course. Let's say you don't, you miss one of the criteria. However, they will probably do it at the end of the 4 years, so you have a lot of time. Let's say you lose your job, well, then you have time to get another one before the end of the 4 years and then keep your resident permit. In second position, I chose one that is less known, however, which I believe is one of the best you can have. Unfortunately, it doesn't concern that many people overall, but is a very good one. It's the residence permit for the member of EU, the family member of EU citizens. So how do you get it? By example, you're the spouse of a EU citizen, you're the parent of a EU citizen, or you're the child of a EU citizen. It also work if you're in a civil union. So it allows that person, if let's say her husband lives in France and is Italian, it allows that person to have a 5-year card. That card allows you to work either working contract or self-employed, and after the 5 years you're entitled directly to a 10-year card, and it doesn't matter, let's say, to get a regular 10-year card you have to show that you have had income over the last 5 years. Well, after the 5 years here with a residence permit as the family member of an EU citizen, you don't have to show any income. You can get the 10-year card just by being in the country. So that 5-year card, which actually also is very good on the duration part, I think is a very good residence permit, and also it's very hard to revoke because it's not French law, it would be EU law, and so you have more and better rights under EU law rather than French immigration law. So that's why I think this residence permit has to be that high up my list. The first one, well, this may seem obvious, but most people usually try to skip this residence permit to go right to citizenship. However, I believe that this residence permit is really important and you need to get there at some point. It is, of course, the 10-year residence permit called carte de résident. Well, first of all, if you will look at the duration, it's a 10-year card, so there's a lot of time. You only renew it one every 10 years, so it's doesn't happen much. There is only one condition for you to renew it. It's that you haven't left the country for more than 3 years. So it's quite easy to renew after you get the first one. So also it allows you to do any activity as you want, either with a working contract or being self-employed. You can even even do both. You have pretty much the same right as a citizen, besides voting to national elections. But otherwise, you have every right like a French citizen. So residence permit, the 10-year residence permit is very, very important and interesting. Also, it's impossible to revoke unless you have committed a very, very serious offense in the country. But that's it. So here is my list of the 5 best residence permit you can get. So in the 5th position, we have the carte de séjour pluriannuelle salarié or entrepreneur profession libérale. 4th, we have the carte de séjour pluriannuelle vie privée familiale. 3rd, we have the passeport talent salarié qualifié, carte bleue européenne or créateur d'entreprise. 2nd, we have the membre de famille de citoyen de l'Union européenne. And 1st, carte de résident. Now that you know the 5 best, how do you get there? Well, first of all, you need to know that if you want to aim for one of these residence permits, you need to do the application when you already have a status. What I mean is that if you don't have a residence permit yet, you cannot apply for this residence permit. You need also to be in the country, and to do the application in the country, you need to live here legally, which means you need a first residence permit or a long stay visa. But this card, you cannot apply for them unless you already live in the country. The second thing I think is important is if you want to apply for one, you must know that none of them are automatic because they are first card. You need to see the difference between applying for a first card or renew a card. Let's say I have a 1-year residence permit for a salarié, and I get another one. This is a renewal, but I have a first card salarié 1 year, and then I get 4-year card. Then it's not only a renewal. I apply for a new card because first one was for 1 year and the new one 4 years. So you need to understand that every time you will apply for one of the card, it's the first application. And so where I'm going with this is that with every application you make, you have to think ahead. Let's say you want to get a 10-year card, which I think is a very good idea. However, you must not start thinking about getting the 10-year card once you have been in the country for at least 5 years, which is one of the rules. You need to think about it way earlier, because if after 5 years we meet and I tell you what are the conditions to get the 10-year card and you don't meet one, well, then you may have to wait 1 or 2 or 3 more years, rather than if you know in advance that, well, I want the 10-year card, so these are the conditions. So you know already what you need to do now to be able to apply 3 years from now, 5 years from now. And that is very important because time cannot, be bought back. So when you have lost it, you have to go with it. And so it means that getting one of the 5 cards I mentioned earlier will take more time. So think ahead. Just don't believe what you say. Get right information in time for when the time comes, you're ready and be able to do the application you want to. So here was my list of the 5 best residence permits you can get to live in the country. If you disagree or if you agree, please don't hesitate to leave a comment. I will like to know your arguments. And if you want more information or to be kept in touch with what is happening in immigration law in France right now, don't hesitate to subscribe to our channel or to reach out directly to us.